Lots of dove.
Some pretty good pictures in here. It's the pictures so I can read
TC, pleasure to meet you, brother. I've heard a lot about you over the years. First and foremost, we appreciate your time. It's really
Appreciate
just
being
a
here.
blessing and a pleasure to be with you. Obviously, author and quote unquote Buffalo King, right? And so you guys will see some of the footage of his beautiful home sitting on 15 acres. Is this still considered Cave Creek?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We're backed up to 750,000 acres preserve
Wow.
right here. That's where I'm backed up to. So it's private and it's cool side of a hill and it's
Well, and so
cool.
the name of the brand is called the Closer's Playbook, and really the whole point of this, TC, is we are looking to have real life, raw, unscripted, no BS,
That's
which you don't see that much anymore these days. It's all fake, and this is anti-fake. This is unwoke. This is all of the stuff that we saw. You're a big Trumper, obviously. I wouldn't call myself a Trumper, but I love Trump. Okay, he just says what he wants to say, does what he wants to do. It sounds like that's kind of the cloth that you're cut from. That's definitely the cloth I'm cut from, and that's what leads us really to this, which is how do we inspire the younger generation? Stop being sissies, stop being pansies. If you've got something in you that is taking you someplace, how do you do it, right? And so that's what this is all about. So let's start off. Let's start off simple. And we'll take only as much time as you allow us to take. But
got old time.
typically these go anywhere from 20 minutes on the very short end up to an hour on the long end. And so
Time.
it's really just it's you being able to share your story, tell the viewers the things that you'd like for them to hear. Because although this channel is currently up and coming and growing, I would imagine, God willing, at some point there'll be millions of people watching this. Whether that's them being inspired to get this book and learn about you and your life and the things you've done there, or whether that's just something that you're going to say here today that's going to change somebody's life forever. We're not sure, but let's start with obviously your full name, and then who are you? I think you're retired now, but what did that look like before retirement? What is the book about? Let's talk about that.
Okay. I grew up in South Dakota. Uh, broke. My dad had a ranch, but we weren't really didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then me and my brother for training, well, we started selling rabbits, actually guinea pigs first for $1 a piece.
Really?
Kids that were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And then went to rabbits, and then we got into Shetland ponies, and we got into more bigger horses, and kind of kept worked our way up, and that's kind of I grew up as in South Dakota off the reservation.
Okay. And how many siblings did you have? I know you said you were.
There was me and two siblings, a sister and a brother, and they're both older than me. My brother's already dead, but
So you're the baby of the family.
correct.
Okay. Wonderful. You're gonna have to help me with the last name. It's T.C. Thorstenson.
Thorstensson, Norwegian.
Thors-
Thorstensson.
Norwegian. Okay. So guys, try to say that 10 times fast, okay? And if you can, comment down below. I want a video of you doing it, all right? Tell us about the Buffalo King. What inspired this? You are and were and always will be the Buffalo King. What is that? What does that mean?
Well, this kind of started by accident. I was making hay on the reservation. We made up 500,000 bales one year.
Okay.
It seemed like you were making hay all summer long. You were feeding hay all winter long. And I said, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So I think it was because I want to be lazy, but I'm not. Trust me, I'm not lazy.
Right.
But so I said, let's buy some buffalo and we can fence the alfalfa fields and graze the buffalo in the alfalfa in the summer and graze them in the pasture in the winter. We don't make any hay. And so when I was 7, my brother was 9, we bought 4 head of buffalo with my dad's help because we had money, but not enough. So we went 3-way partnership. And as things developed, I see them. I love the animal. They're just fast, they're quick, they're a magnificent animal. I
Yeah.
love with the animal. And so then we started buying more and more buffalo. And I was like 14. We bought my dad out. And then I had about 16, 17 of buffalo. And before I got out of high school, I bought my brother out and had 30 head of buffalo. My
Wow.
biggest herd of buffalo head was 550 head in Texas. I wasn't planning to train buffalo in my life.
Okay.
That was totally an accident. What happened was we live on a reservation and poachers would shoot a buffalo cow here and there.
Okay.
And somebody shot this cow with a 22, She lived for probably 3 days, but she gave birth to the calf and then died.
Oh, wow.
When I found her, I was like 14, dead in the pasture with the cow by the road. And so I took the calf home and fed it. People said, "What are you going to do with the calf?" I said, "Well, I've been training horses for 10 years as a kid, so I'm going to train a buffalo." And you can't train a buffalo. I said, "Well, give me a shot at it."
Yeah.
So then I I trained to ride, then I started herding cattle with the buffalo. Then I started team roping off the buffalo. Then I started steer wrestling off the buffalo. Then somebody wanted if I'd match me in a horse race. And I said I would. I took off from there.
Just to kind of give the viewers an idea of like, obviously it sounds like pretty humble beginnings, if I'm hearing that correct. You guys are selling guinea pigs and bunnies and Shetland ponies, and you're hustling at a young age. You're flipping these animals and you're making money, and that's incredible. And then you're like, let's do it with buffaloes.
Anybody can do it
Right.
if you set your mind to something. I believe this 100% true.
Yeah.
And really set your mind to you can do it. And I got a lot of younger guys that come to me for whatever reason. I try to be kind of a mentor to them to a certain point.
Sure.
And I was this way myself. When you're young like that, you're kind of bouncing around what you want to do, what you want to be. And I tell this to so many people, and I pass this on to anybody that's listening. And that is, if you go home tonight and you get a piece of paper out and you write the 10 most important things in your life.
Yeah.
And put them on the fridge or something. And it's funny because them numbers are going to change quite a bit the first week or two. You keep reading that and put it on the refrigerator, put it where you wash your face off in the morning or something, and you focus on that. You'll be there so fast you won't know. But if you're not focused on something, you're never going to get there.
Right.
So you got to focus on what you want in the right order. And it might be a good job, it might be a nice car, it might be money in the bank, it might be a great relationship, it could be
Right.
anything.
Right.
But if you focus on, you'll get there. But
Absolutely.
you have to pinpoint those highlights on what you really want in life. And I've said this too, and I've done it many times in my entire life myself.
Yeah.
By taking my own advice, and you do that, and then next thing you're there.
Do you think that started?
Was about 20 when I
20.
really started getting focused because I had
Okay.
a herd of buffalo and I had but this time I'm married and I got a little kid that's a couple years old,
So
a year old.
if 20 was the pinnacle mark, what is it that happened at age 20 that is this distinctive shift that you knew something's different, something's changing, I'm becoming a different person, or I became a different person, and I'm on this path towards success? And what was that click?
I was kind of out there as a kid and married and I got a little kid, and then my dad said, you're just not focused on what you're doing. You got to go. And I was never planning on leaving the ranch.
Okay.
So I had to pack up and leave, and I had 30 head of buffalo, so take care of them in the fall, but take the wife and kid. And was riding bulls, and I was partying and doing wild and crazy stuff. And
Sure.
And trust me, I learned how to work at a very young age. But that really put the meat to the wall when it comes up to get your stuff together and make some money and support your family, take care of people. And that's when it really clicked the hardest.
Okay.
I thought it'd be the rest of my life. And when you get bumped from the ranch, it's like that was a shocker.
And do you think your dad did that because he wanted to push you out of the nest and he wanted you to go?
No, he just no, I was just screwing up a lot. And,
Okay.
And he got tired of it. If you read my Buffalo King, you'll find out there's a lot of story to this. It's on Amazon for like $20, but
Okay.
thank point. But the deal is that, and we'd go to horse sales. Besides my dad's horses, we'd go gather a bunch of horses, 10 or 15 at a time, and try to break them a day or two before the sale, ride them in the sale. We'd buy horses at the sale barn and would run them back to the chute, cut their mane off, put a saddle on them, and ride them back in the ring in 20 more minutes.
Wow.
Or 2 hours.
Wow.
Because the horses usually won't buck if they're on concrete. They need a footing. So it wouldn't buck. We call them Greenbrook horse. We could make a horse, back then, we're talking way back when, could make $150 a horse.
And
That was in the
that's
70s.
significant amount of money.
70s, yeah, back then.
In today's realm, that's $1,000,
Well,
maybe more.
Back then they were selling 1 ton.
No, that's
jellies for
probably more.
15,000, but now they're selling 1 jellies for 150,000.
Yeah, so you're talking 10x. So you're talking
Yeah.
$1,500
Yeah.
today's world.
Yeah, but we're rolling. That's how we're making money, is just trading out. But Dad didn't
Yeah.
pay us much, but he let us do what we want to do when it comes to try to make money,
Right.
to earn money ourselves.
Right.
He didn't give us nothing.
Sure.
You had to earn it.
Sure.
And that's what I think a lot of people are really missing on raising kids. And, kids sometimes need a licking,
100%.
Or not whip, not beat them, but you got to wake them up and you got to get them out of the house. You got to get them working and got to make their own money. The parents shouldn't support the kids all their life,
Yeah.
because that's going to screw up the kid.
I kind of grew up with my grandparents half the time. And so My idea of fun was going to the VFW with my grandparents on the weekend and playing pool with war veterans. Okay. And you hear stories and you hear about how to respect women and how to treat people and opening a door. And, the newer generations aren't learning these things. They're not learning the morals and the values and the principles and the things you're
Correct.
talking about. And it sounds like at 20, you were still learning those things yourself to an extent, and your dad's going, "Hey, it's time for you to go with the wife and with the kid, and you got to go figure this thing out."
Yeah, definitely.
And
He
sounds
woke.
like
He
you didn't
woke.
really like it, but you were appreciative of it in the long
Oh,
run
well,
because it,
without a doubt, it was probably the best
yeah,
thing that happened to me because
correct.
he kind of bumped me out, and
That's a great origin story. That really gives us a picture of where you came from, how you kind of got there. Now, when you left the ranch, you started riding rodeo and bulls, and at what point did you circle back around to the buffalo? When did they come back into your life
well, I
in
always
a big
had
way?
him. I always had him. I started rodeoing at a very young age, and I got good at it because we were breaking so many horses that it was nothing, to ride 6 or 7 wild Mustangs, not Mustangs, wild horses in the same
Right,
day. And I always had the buffalo with me, but I didn't think the buffalo would ever take off other than to just ride him as a pet.
right.
And like I said, I was doing all this other stuff. So I took the buff with me everywhere I was going. Tried to put him in the Boulder, Colorado game, took him there, put him on the field one time.
Okay,
I did stuff like that. Think he's going to be a mascot for some team somewhere in life, but I didn't know
okay.
where. And I had all kinds of plans, but I was also working 3 jobs. I was a workaholic,
Yeah,
and that did cost me a marriage or two. But
okay.
you got to just keep trying, keep trying. People, you can't give up on you. Can't give up on dreams. You can't back off on anything. You got to just go
Right,
full tilt, and I think that's the key factor. And I tell like younger guys now that get married, they want to buy a house for their wife. That sounds good, but don't do that. Buy a townhouse, buy a fourplex, because then you got some income coming in. And once you start making more money, then you can buy a house down the road, but you might buy another three, four fourplexes. And you do
right,
that enough times, now you're making money while you're living.
right, right.
And I got a few rentals here, and I got a lot of rentals in town, but that's but I made the money off the racing buffalo. Really, that's where I made my bulk of the money.
When did you realize you could utilize the buffalo and monetize the buffalo in those types of ways from a marketing perspective, from ESPN and games and being on actual coins and all of these types of things? Was that in the your mid 20s, early 30s?
Is
Where did
probably
that come into play?
probably in about late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
And I was riding the buffalo, doing stuff with him, taking him wherever I went, and just people were used to seeing the buffalo in my house and all kinds of things that were, shouldn't be unacceptable to the average person. But
Right.
we did that. But then till at Wyoming, they asked if I'd race the buffalo against racehorses because I'd break he was fast, and they said, "What do you want?" I said, $100. I raced him, and he won, and he liked it. And, a month later, we were in Miles City, Montana, for $500, and a month or two later, we're in Spokane, Washington, for $2,500. A month so later, we was in Seattle, Washington, for $5,000. Now I knew I was on the right track
Yeah.
to make money with the buffalo, and that's when things really started clicking.
Well, and mind you,
And
and everyone listening, we're talking at age 30,
yeah,
this is still what, 1980
yeah,
something. So you're talking about $5,000, and that money is got to be at least
for right now,
$50,000 in today's money.
yeah,
So you're talking some serious money, and you're going, okay, I love these buffaloes. I'm raising these buffaloes, and you're basically their dad, for all intents and purposes. And I'm sure there's a little bit of a love hate relationship at some points, but it's like some people how their dogs are their kids. I mean, these buffalo were your kids in a way.
definitely. You gotta live with them, and you work with them every day. You don't
Yeah,
train them every day, but you with them every day because the buffalo got to think he's a human if you want to train him. And like I said, I went through 53 so far to get 6 good ones. Not every animal's trainable. I always say it's not like every woman or every man you meet you want to marry. You got to find the right connection.
what would you say on it? Sounded like there was, I don't want to say regret, because regret, you can't go back and change the past, but if you could, if you had a crystal ball and you could shake it up, you were talking about, you lost a wife, you were kind of working a lot, to divorce, and what could you or what would you have gone back and changed? And maybe someone listening that may be on the precipice of something like that, maybe they think grass is green on the other side. I'm pretty sure it's not. And what would you say to that,
You got to put in 100%. If you don't put in 100%, you're never going to get there, folks. You got to give 100% of what you got. And it goes with the job, it goes with the family, it goes with the wife, it goes with the girlfriend. And you got to bring the man peace, and he's got to take care of things what he should, and treat him good, and he'll treat you better.
Absolutely.
And that's the way I blew. growing up in life.
Yeah.
You know, my dad did teach me a bunch of good things. My dad was a great guy. He was a tough man, but tough and rough. But he got the principle across about trying to treat people right and just give 100% of yourself. And therefore, I was giving too much myself to work and not enough to the wife, and that's how I lost the wife. Beside point, but I still regret that one.
Right.
I should have slowed down enough to let things catch up. So then between that and my dad dying and I had some bad deals, but I had a lot of good things too. But
Yeah.
it's about putting in time and putting in the effort. And a lot of people just can't do that nowadays. My dad got killed by one of my buffalo,
Really.
and that set me back big time
Really.
in my head and stuff. And just, so that, but you can't go back. So it's the way it is. And
Yeah.
I worked
Don't
from that.
concentrate on the past. You got to
You
move
gotta
forward.
Yeah, but is what it is, and just try to be focused on the future,
Right.
focused on what I have for family, and I got a lot of friends, and there are a lot of great people in this town, and I love the town of Cape Creek, Arizona. That's where I've been Arizona for 30 years, but Cape Creek for 20 plus.
I love it here too. I'm assuming this is it.
Yeah, I'm not moving again.
Yeah, you're not moving again, right? We were talking a little bit about that earlier.
I always ask people when I read the book, I said, what's the best part of the book and what's the worst
Yeah.
part of the book? Because I wrote it for 3 years. It took 3 years. The first 6 months, I was bouncing around, and they said, I just didn't know where I was at in the book. So then they said, and I suggest this to anybody, even if you're 20 or 40, write a book. Maybe you're not going to print it right away,
Right.
but the problem is you get older, you forget the stories. So then I had to go back and
Right.
start with day one, pretty much when I was born, and then move it from there. And then you find these other stories, you got to put them in the right place to keep it focused. But the
Right.
book was 1,000 pages, so the editor cut it in half 3 times. So there's a lot more to put in there. But so I ask people, what's the best part of the book and what's the worst part of the book? And a lot of people say the same thing. The worst thing is your dad getting killed.
Yeah.
And also it's if there's one thing you read the book, that I'm a promoter at heart.
Yeah.
I've been promoting. We did the first run of the bulls ever in America. We
Okay.
drew 7,500 people to town.
Wow.
Population of 5,500 people.
And that was here?
Yeah, right in town, Cape Creek.
Wow.
I did that for 3 years in a row. I'm really good with livestock. I'm better with livestock than people.
Okay.
But I can read them. That's why I'm still alive. There's 2 other guys trained in Buffalo, and they lasted about 14 years. They're both dead, but I've been at it for 50 plus years, and I'm still alive. I got gored a few times, but that's part of the business. If you really want to train buffalo, I don't recommend anybody do that because you're going to get hurt.
Right.
I don't care how safe you are, you'll get hurt.
Right.
And same with wolves. I trained wolves for 24 years, and I got chewed up a bunch of times, and it's some wild stories in the book about that too. But get the book Buffalo King, and if you don't like it, I'll give you money back.
There you go.
A lifetime
I
guarantee
mean,
on the book.
I don't know if it gets any better than that, folks, And I'll post a link.
Okay, so
I'm gonna put a link down in the comments, guys, so you guys can click right on that, and it'll take you right to Amazon.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's the best
Yep.
place to buy it.
Yep.
Is it available in an ebook or Kindle or any of that stuff, or
I
is it
don't
just
think
the
so yet. We're
physical
trying to work
book?
on that deal, but
Okay.
it's kind of work in progress.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about the whole point of this interview and this series. The series is called The Closer's Table. We're really looking for interviews with top 1%ers because I feel like if you're gonna be aspiring towards something, there's a lot of different people that are in that top 1%, and really the top 1% is only really this anyone with a minimum of 1.1 million in net worth or higher. It's up to you. Some people like to share this on the podcast. Some people don't. But where do you fall in that category? Obviously, we going from humble beginnings, selling guinea pigs and bunnies and ponies and raising buffalo and doing a show for $100 and a case of beer, and then all the way up to $5,000, and then now we're sitting in a multi-million-dollar house on 15 acres in beautiful Cave Creek. Whether you want to disclose that or not, that's up to you, but you're certainly in the top 1%, and we know that. But what does it take to go from those humble beginnings to wherever it is that you are now? And is that something you'd be interested in sharing?
Well, I would say this: I'm no better than nobody. I'm
Yeah.
not worse than nobody.
Yeah.
Color. People say this and that. I say, color don't make a difference to me. I love people of any color, any race, any religion.
100%.
You just got to treat people with respect, and if you do that,
Yeah.
you're on the right track. And I made good money on the buffalo business, and still making some money now. I got some rentals and stuff, but I
Yeah.
bought the house like 5 years. We had the largest country western bar for 10 years. It was called Hogs and Horses.
Okay.
Was the name of the bar, and I ran that for 10 years. I sold it once, and they called it Outlaw Annie's, and I got it back. So then I just called it Outlaws.
Okay.
And then the new people, the football player bought it from me. It was
Okay.
Titans number 77.
There you go.
And that was,
And what's it called now?
it's called Rebel Ranch, but it's not run right now.
Oh, okay.
The town's kind of jacking them on some stuff. My problem is I just say it the way it is.
Yeah.
I don't kiss nobody's ass. I don't want nobody kissing my ass.
Right.
But if a city council guy walks up and says, "What do you think of me?" If he's an asshole, I'm going to call him an ass.
Sure.
But if he's a great guy, I'll call him a great guy. But
Sure.
I'm not going to. I guess I got to my life so far without sugarcoating stuff, and I tell people the way it is. If they don't like it, that's fine. They can take me where I am or
Right.
don't. If you're not telling the truth, you're doing something wrong.
That's
You
right.
got to be truthful all the time, and I sure try to be that way. And I don't sugarcoat stuff. And they might not like what I say, but I'll say it the way it is every time.
And that's how it should be. If you don't tell someone how you really feel, then they'll never know how you really feel. They'll never know that they need to change or do anything, or whether they change or not. There's a problem with that, in my opinion. And people who know me, man, I say what I want to say when I want to say it, to who I want to say it, how I want to say it. And if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. And either we're friends, and typically we're either best friends or we're just not.
To my opinion, it's like nowadays, it's first prize for everybody.
Right.
You could be the last person, the first person, but everybody gets the same prize. With that, keep you from trying hard.
What? Yeah,
You want to be
exactly.
the top of your game. You want to be up there. You want to be making big money. You want to be doing this and that. You want to be the best at what you can be. But if first prize and last prize is the same thing, why try?
Why try? That's
And
exactly
I
right.
believe that you should try and give 100% of whatever you're doing all the time, because
Absolutely.
that 100% is going to get you over the top, and that'll get you ahead in life. But if you just want to sit with the crowd, sit back and take, whatever's coming at you, and you're not really putting in the extra effort, you will never get ahead in life. And somebody said to me a long time ago, they said, "TC, you could do," sometimes I was doing 3 shows a day.
Yeah.
And they said, "TC, you could do 1 show a week and get by." I said, I gotta get this done because I don't want to be working when I'm 70.
Right.
I want to be retired when I'm my age and have money to do stuff with and
Sure.
hang out and do some fun stuff. But if you just skating to get by, you're always behind.
Yeah.
If you don't show up early for work, you're already late. You've got
Exactly.
to be there before it starts and put in 100%, whatever you're doing. There's people, I don't knock anybody's jobs, whether they're a garbage man, whether they're a sewer man, whether they're um, senator, I don't care what it is, but you got to give 100% what you're doing. And if you do that, you will get ahead in life. But,
Sure.
you treat people with respect. If you don't treat respect, I won't treat you with respect either.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. But
Uh
people don't have that nowadays.
no,
A
no.
lot of
Well,
people,
they've
not
lost their grit, they've
yeah,
lost their
yeah.
edge, because we've been told it's wrong, right? And it's not wrong. And all the people who are telling us that it's wrong and we shouldn't tell people the truth are the ones that are way over here. Let's look at how they're doing, and let's look at how the people over here who are real are doing. And that's part of the point of this whole thing here is like I've been very I'm not anti-social media, but I haven't had any social media for a long, long time except for Facebook, and that's because I like Facebook Marketplace because I like to be frugal. So if I'm gonna go out and buy a car, I'm gonna look and see if I can find it cheaper first before I go to the dealer and buy it or
Yep.
whatever it is. That's just ingrained in me because of my humble beginnings. I grew up in a very lower middle class, family, and it's always stuck with me. They say you can take the boy out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of the boy, right? You've probably heard something
Yeah.
similar in your upbringing, but where are you today, age wise? I know you said you were your goal. It sounded like was by the time before you were 70, you wanted to be retired. You wanted to have made your money. It sounds like you still got money coming in from properties and stuff like that. But where are you at today?
I'm in my 60s. I'm doing good. I'm
Okay,
retired, looking for a gal. Yeah, I didn't have much relationship, maybe a little here and there, but nothing permanent because I didn't have a girl that could travel with me.
sure.
But so I'm stopped traveling. So now I'm traveling for fun, not for work.
So what I'm
And
hearing, TC, is you're looking for a woman.
yeah, matter of fact, I am.
Let's tell them the list.
The
If you're out there, ladies, and you're this age and you're this, we'll put that down in the comments below as well. It'll be a pre-interview
yeah,
process. It'll be a
yeah,
link.
yeah,
It'll be the TC pre-interview link for maybe candidates
yeah.
for that future
I
woman in your
I
life.
love it.
That's hilarious.
Looking for Mrs. Right.
Now, why don't you find them here in Cave Creek or
It's kind of I'm not saying there couldn't be somebody here, but
yeah,
there's kind of a smaller pool of people
sure,
when you're talking 5,000 people,
sure,
and then how many people are really married, and how many people are single, and how many
yeah.
people are out looking for a date, and like to dance, like to have fun, I like to take people places, and I like to enjoy life. And I'm in a
Have you been
situation
to
where
Europe?
I went to Germany one time. I didn't like it because they were just too rude.
Yeah.
They were really rude.
I'd recommend. I love Europe. I'd recommend for you start going to Spain and
Yeah, that's
Portugal, and you might find some,
yeah.
some people to dance with and have fun with, and you might just find that future lady, and
Yeah.
who knows? They might be Spanish, they might be Italian,
I don't care
you know,
what color,
they
what
might be
religion,
French,
what
you
that doesn't
know.
bother me. I just wanted a good, faithful woman. That's all.
Yeah,
I ain't asking for that much.
right. I've been very fortunate. I've been married. I'm 37. Got married when I was 22, and I've been married for 15 years, and she's my best friend, and
Great.
she is a great woman. So shout out to you,
If
babe.
you
I
find a
love
good
you.
one, don't lose her.
Don't lose her.
Or a guy. If you find a good
Yeah,
one, keep him because
yeah,
there ain't many of them around.
that's true.
Somebody that's willing to work, treat you right, and you got to have somebody to treat you with respect and love. And I think the key word is peace.
Yeah,
If you don't have peace in your house, you won't have nothing.
yeah.
But a house is a house, and a home is when you have a woman
There you
and
go.
a good lover, a good good person that takes
Yeah,
care of you and you
yeah,
take care of them. It's a
for sure,
two-way street on all of it.
for sure.
Definitely
It
two-way
always
street.
is.
And some people can't grasp that part. I think I have over the years. I sure wasn't perfect by any means
Sure.
growing up for a while, but I really got to know what I want in life. What I
Yeah.
want in life is I want to have fun the rest of my life and just kind of kick back and share it with
We've
somebody.
learned about your idea of fun growing up, but what is your idea of fun today? What does that look like for you?
Going out and hanging out with my friends.
Okay.
Like to travel some more. Still want to get into Buffalo and start over again. I don't give up on what my goals are. I got some major goals I want to still get done. That takes a lot of commitment too.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't want to do that because they, say, well, you're kind of retired. You don't have to do that. Well, it's what I grew up doing. And that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
If you're good at something, you don't want to quit it. And I think the average person nowadays, especially guy, I'm talking guys, not so much women, but they might have a job they hate for 40 years. And they say, when I retire, I'm going to go fishing the rest of my life. And they retire, they fish for 2 weeks, they get tired of it, it's boring. So they sit in front of a TV, eat Cheetos and beer, whatever, and drink something. And then
Yeah.
and 2 years later, they're fat and they're not moving around
Or they're dead.
and they're dead and they die. And that's the average big chunk of the guys nowadays.
Yeah.
But if you always got something to do and you're always active, you
Yep.
got to be active. You got to keep the weight off. You got to be in shape because especially when you're working Buffalo and stuff, you got to be ready for something to come your way fast. Like kind of you got to be ready to fight at any time.
Sure.
Or defend yourself. When you got a 2,000 or 2,800 pound buffalo that could attack you at any second, you better be pretty sharp.
Right.
I want to just be happy and have a good woman and relax and treat her right, and that's what I'm looking for.
Sure. And you said something a second ago that I think actually applies more than you know it to all of life, which is the hard work of training those buffalo and going through that. I mean, that really applies to anything in life. Someone's buffalo could be their corporate America job. Someone's buffalo could be their entrepreneurial spirit. Someone's buffalo could be that invention that they keep talking about, but they never took to fruition. Whatever it is, anything. It's the same type of work ethic, same type of drive, the same type of desire, and you got to go after it. You got to go get it.
Whether it's a relationship or whether it's a buffalo, especially a buffalo, you have to work them every day. Well, you
Yeah,
want to be training them every day, but you're with them every day, and that works with a relationship too. When you're
100%.
gone too much, it doesn't work. It's gonna distance will take away from relationships, and like with wild animals, you got to train them every day and be with them every day, and they got to get to know you, and you got to put your time in. If you don't put your time in, it never work.
Really, that may sum up your entire, you know, this entire podcast here is you got to work on it
Yeah,
every day.
every day. It's
And
a
it
solid relationship.
changes whether it's your relationship with your wife or your spouse or your partner, whether it's a relationship with your kids, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, whether it's your buffalo, whatever it is, if you're neglecting it for too long,
Won't work out.
there's times where you may not be able to get to it every day,
Yeah, but you got to.
but you got to really put an effort to.
Yeah, and people don't do that nowadays. They're just kind of, well, it ain't working. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
That's not the way it should be in life, but that is the way it is in life.
yeah,
And I always wish everybody the best. I always expect the worst and hope for the best, but you got to be ready. But when you're messing with them kind of animals and people, I can read body language of people very well, and also with animals,
yeah.
or I wouldn't be alive yet.
Right. Your instincts and intuition
Yeah.
is why we're sitting here doing this interview
I'm
today.
not good on a computer, people,
That's okay. You don't have to be, right?
but I'm good at a lot of other things.
You find people who are better than you at the things that you're not good at, and that's how you become a good leader.
You hire the right people, the right job, and and that's what I'm kind of working on right now
Good.
for computer stuff. I'm not computer savvy, but I grew up really poor.
Yeah.
I didn't learn to read until I was 4, and that's in the book too. So it's in the book. It's in the book.
It's in the book, guys. That is
That's it.
guys, we need
Sure.
to make sure that we blow this up. We need to make sure that the Buffalo King, it'd be great if we could make it a number one top seller at some point in the future, whether that be for a week, a month, a year. I mean, that'd be fun if it's in that category. As we close this out, as we land the plane, TC, I want this to be your time. I've asked you a lot of questions. I've kind of poked and prodded along the way to get things out of you, but some point, I know with everything inside of me, there will be millions of people that see this at some point in the future. And whether that's in a month, a year, 5 years, or maybe even after you're gone, what's something that you want to resonate to those millions of people that are going to see this that you want to be part of your legacy? Do you have anything like that?
Just be honest, be fair, treat everybody with respect, treat everybody equal. Because it could be a dishwasher, it could be a banker, whatever the deal is. There's so much to be said about giving people respect. If they don't give respect, you don't give them respect. But you just got to start out with a positive attitude. I don't care what religion you are or whatever. I've got friends in every color, race, creed, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But you got to put in 100%.
Well, TC, I
It's a
really, truly
pleasure.
appreciate your time. It's been a lot of fun, man. I love your laugh. I think they're gonna love your laugh. I mean, it may be the best quality that you have. I love it. As we were walking through and touring your house, I loved seeing the joy that bubbled out of you as you were recalling these memories and these things that you went through. It's there's something about that, right? Because those are things, all those things on your wall. No one can ever take those from you ever.
Yes.
And it's those memories that last forever, at least this lifetime.
I love people. I really love people so much
Yeah.
and friends are everything. They say when you die, if you got 5 good friends, one for each finger in your hand, you're lucky. And I
That's
think that's
true.
true
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people that want to be your friend on the backside, but when they turn around, it's not that way.
100%.
And you got to just kind of weed them out. Guy, Sam Kadot's in the book too. He helped me out way back when I was dick ass broke. And he said, TC, I see you're broke. You got no money. And this is, 45 years ago, something like whatever, 40 was ago. Anyway, so he said, I'll give you $1,000. I didn't think the guy had $1,000 in his life. He told me
Wow.
like that. And I said, I said, Sam, I don't think I have $1,000 in my entire life. But if you will haul me to Gillette, Wyoming, because I had to leave the car for the wife and little kid.
Yeah.
I said, so I hawked my rodeo gear. I knew I wasn't getting back, but I had
Yeah.
to have money.
Yeah.
And I had enough money to get me there. I had a job waiting and had a place to stay. And if it wasn't for him helping me out that one time, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Wow.
And I said, all this is a blessing, but it's almost a curse because I help people out that I shouldn't, thinking, okay, well, maybe this is that one point that he's going to say that about me when I'm dead.
Yeah.
To say that TC, he helped me out when nobody else would.
How old were you during that pinnacle
I was, that would
moment?
have been about 23, maybe 24,
Okay.
give or take a little bit on that. But if he wouldn't help me out,
And his name was
Sam Kadot.
Is he still around?
No, he died 10, 15 years ago.
Sam Kadot.
Yeah, he's on the reservation. Indian, good friend of mine. I got a lot of Indian friends. Like I said, I grew up on the reservation for 24 years. There is commands, which means that white people can't own part of the reservation.
Okay.
My dad had a 24,000 acre ranch there, and then at least another 100,000 acres. And Showing
Wow.
up in the book that we were where my boy grew up is like 30 miles north where Chief Sitting Bull's buried. One of the 7 chiefs that killed Custer,
Wow.
and Sacagawea is buried there.
Wow.
And then
And where's this? This is all in South Dakota.
yeah, it's on West River, Missouri River, on the Sioux Reservation, South Dakota.
Incredible. And do you still have some of that ranch, or is that still
Ranch is gone now.
ranch
but-
is gone? Okay.
Then I used to always fence and stuff on the Indian burial grounds.
Okay.
And there's another statue out there that said this is a wild story. So
Well, let's share it because
well,
the viewers love wild stories. TC.
I got a lot of them.
Okay.
I got the book is only about a quarter what it should be, but
Yeah.
anyway, so I was out there on the reservation and the story and way back when I was a kid, they were taking aerial photos of South Dakota, and they seen on this peninsula there was these round spots. So the University of Oklahoma and Nebraska come out, and it was Indian burial grounds.
Wow.
And the story goes that there was the ship had come down, a boat come down, and the Indians went out to attack the boat. And this is written down true, but they don't say
Yeah.
where it's at. But they fired a cannonball in the center of the village, and the white guys got away, and the Indians went back, whatever, and so we got killed or whatever. That's the deal. But anyway, when they dug up the Indian village, they found a cannonball in that center of the village. Now that's
Wow.
pretty wild. Plus a lot of bone stuff. They learned there was a fort, kind of a fort the Indians had to protect themselves from the other Indians.
Oh, wow.
And this is Missouri River. Sure way back when, but there's a lot of history, and I used to fence that all the time. And
Yeah.
I broke down one time. I was like, I don't know, 15 miles from home, and I was a young kid. And so I walked 5 miles till I get to Sam Cadot's dad's place, Cyrus, and he said there's a horse in the pen, you could ride it home, and he wasn't really broke.
Oh, you,
So the next 10 miles, 12 miles, I rode the horse home that wasn't broke to ride.
yeah.
And I got home about 2 hours after dark, but I didn't tell where I was going that day, and they wouldn't found me for days if I wouldn't have showed up. But I
Right.
was on the Ena Barrel Ground. It seemed like whenever I was out in that area, my Jeep always broke down. Just fencing because
Interesting.
we had at least 100,000 acres of ground over there too.
Mm.
I really like fencing. I was good at fencing, and my dad said, "Good thing you like fencing because you're having buffalo. You're gonna learn to fence a lot." You
It's
got
interesting, God's sovereignty through it all, even in our finite minds, can't understand it. The beauty of heaven. I can't wait to be able to understand these things that I can't understand today, like my little brother who passed away at an early age, or like the motorcycle wreck I got in that I broke 15 bones and
oh shit.
head-on collision, and luckily I made it. Thank God. But there's a lot of questions, and I'm sure you have even more than I do.
So you got way more than I did then.
But anyways, TC, I really truly appreciate it again.
My pleasure, sir.
And I would just say, guys, if you're watching this, this is just two friends talking. We're out here on his back porch. I mean, talk about a incredible back porch. I mean, this is not your average back porch. But let me tell you guys, if this inspired you, helped you, changed your life in any way, got you down a path you didn't know you were going to go down, I would just ask you a couple things. Number one, like this, share this, leave comments down below, and guys, please go ahead and buy the Buffalo King. Let's flood that. Let's get him some feedback. I'm sure that's one thing you'd love to have.
love that
Is the
more.
comments, the feedback, and because this could be version 1, there may be a version 2 coming. It sounds like there's another 600 pages out there.
There is.
And there may be more volumes coming after this, guys. So, anyways, guys, appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate you, TC, for being here, guys. This is the Closer's Playbook, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Thanks, folks. It's your book, sir.
Yes, sir. Did you sign it for me?
I did not yet.
Got to do that.
I can do that.
So,
Okay.
you got TC signing this book for me. This will have to be in the outtakes, but
That's me and the wolf and the buffalo in the movie Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good book. There's 32 pictures in here. It's the picture so I can read it. So it's easy to read, big words, big letters, big stuff, but it's
It's a
it's
nice
only,
quality
it's only
book.
a third of it.
Yeah.
But check it out later, folks. Love y'all. If something's
That's
getting you in
right.
trouble, don't do it.
That's right. That's
You know,
right. Yeah.
but that's part of living and part of learning. And that's
Absolutely.
part of just growing up.
Absolutely.
And but it's just trying to get people focused on, taking care of other people better. And
Right.
if everybody were more concerned about everybody else, the place would be a whole different place.
Oh,
Where-
100%.
But people don't give a shit.
No,
nowadays,
people
I
care
guess.
about themselves.
Yeah,
Very
that's-
introspective these days.
Yeah, it is.
It is unfortunate.